Hi guys, this is Dr. Kavita. You guys know me from Dr. KMD. So if you're hearing this podcast, well, hello there. And if you're watching the video, you can anytime turn on to the timestamps to watch the particular section that you want to see. So I bring you the most incredible doctors and medical students who can inspire you and motivate you in your journey. And today we have a very special guest with us. She is a medical student and she has just finished her MBBS from China from Guangzhou University and cleared her FMGE exam. So we will be talking more about the FMGE exam and how was her journey, and she is currently preparing for the NEET exam. Well, hi Dr. Apurva, how are you doing?
I am good. How are you doing?
I am amazing. So, without wasting any further time, I'll just straight away ahead jump to the question. So, just tell our viewers which city are you from, and did you ever think that you will end up doing your MBBS from China, and how was the journey overall for you?
Okay, so hi, I am Apurva. So I was settled in Kolkata from the very beginning. I did my schooling in Kolkata and I was preparing for my NEET UG exam in the year 2013. And after that, initially I always wanted to become a doctor. Matlab bachpan se there was this thing, I used to sit down and prescribe medicines because my mother was a sister and she was a nurse. So we were always in that influence of doctors and uncles who were helping us, or there were ma'ams who were helping us with, and we were always in that environment of hospital. So ek wo tha ki I always aspired to become one of them. So I wanted to become a doctor and it was always there. But in class 10th, I was more focused on this dream and I started my journey seriously.
So, you don't come from that family of doctors where you have all the guidance and everything, but you did it on your own.
Yes, we did not have anyone in our, like, I am the first person from my family who has become a doctor.
How challenging was starting the journey, because everyone says you need so much of guidance and everything for even starting to dream about becoming a doctor. Did you when you started your journey, was it scary?
Initially I always thought that I could do it, but when I failed the very first time, I understood no, it's not easy. Like when I did not get through my NEET 2013 exam, that is when I realized that no, this is not an easy thing. I need to buckle up and I need to give my 100%, and this is not some cheesecake that I was going on having like my class 10th or 12th exams. So that's when I understood the competition. And for inspiration, I always had people around, but no one from my family or from my closed ones who was there to guide me. Everybody wanted me to do best, but there was no one who could actually guide me properly.
Got it. So, when you did not get through in the NEET exam, how did you end up choosing China as one of your options, and what were the worries that that time troubled you of doing MBBS from outside India? Like, how did you turn that up?
Because we never I come from a family of middle class background, right? So we never thought that I'll be studying abroad, or for that matter could even afford to study in a private medical college in India. So when I did not get through the second time, that's when my parents were like, if you want to choose some other field without wasting time, you can go for it. Then I started doing BSc psychology, but my heart was still aching, and I wanted to do medicine. Then the next year when the counseling started, I was not prepared because I was doing something completely different. Then I was not prepared for the exam, but still I took a chance. And that year I told my parents, I'll see if there is any other option. If not medicine, I'll do BDS or something else. And we went to a fair where we got to learn about China and Russia and all these other places. Before that, we hardly knew that these were options. And there we found out that the price of studying in, like, the tuition fees was really less compared to what our private colleges were demanding. And then I chose to go for it, and then the process slowly unfolded and we got to know. And there were some difficulties, of course. There were people who were misleading us, because there are chances of getting cheated and all of that because of but then thankfully God was with me in this last it was around November when I got into my college, and I was the last student to get registered in my
Oh my god, that's amazing.
it was very difficult at that time.
So I got two very important things from what you told right now. One thing is doing MBBS from abroad is even affordable, even for the middle class family. And if you have a persistent dream, I totally relate to you that you picked up a stream just to distract yourself, but your dream kept on calling you. So similar thing happened with me when I did not get those time we used to have DPMT exams for Delhi medical schools. So when I did not get in, so I also took admission in biotechnology. But just on the day of counseling, I paid all the fees, and I knew that almost 100% will be refunded. So just after coming back from the counseling, I told my parents, no, I'm dropping another year to study for MBBS. So I think if we really are passionate about our dream, so no matter how we try to distract ourselves, but it eventually just keeps on calling us, and we should hear that call. So yeah, that's really great. Okay, so my next question for you is, what was your lowest point in life and how did you overcome it? And did it transform you?
Yeah, okay. So this question, there were 2 points where I was the lowest. One, academically, that was after my 12th result, when I realized this is not easy and I have to put my things together, and I have to put in more efforts. That was my academic low. And in 2020, I was going through a phase of, well, like most of the people were going through a phase of depression, and there were some personal issues that were also like hitting me hard. I realized that I cannot let this chance go, because our university had told us we need to wait for, as we didn't know how long we have to wait for to get back to school and finish our graduation. We were left with only two semesters, not 2 semesters, actually 1 semester. That was my last semester, and that was when I started studying. Like, I had to distract myself from all this depression, and all these thoughts were really hard for me to get through. Like, even to go through a day, it was difficult because we were not meeting people to discuss or even have a conversation. I am in this situation. So that was when it was my lowest, and I realized a lot of things about myself. I made a routine, and I genuinely feel that was when I transformed from being, I was very well and I was studying, but the track which I needed to be on, I was not on it. And after 2020, a lot of things within me changed. I started reading. I was more, not just my medical books, but I started reading other stuffs, and I started being more of me. I connected with myself after 2020, and that was
That's really brave of you, and I would like to say that sometimes we think that only we are the one that are suffering, but there are so many students like us who go through these phases, and if we think that it is totally consuming us, then sharing it with family and friends and even taking help is something that we should do in that time. And specifically for me, journaling has helped me a lot. So what did help you overcoming those feelings in those times?
like you said, journaling. I started journaling in 2020, not before. I did not have a proper routine. The two things that really changed my way of living was getting into a routine and journaling. Also, I started talking to people who inspired me, and people who kept me happy and who understood me for being me. And yeah, those were the things that I can remember at the moment that really helped me through this time.
How did you motivate yourself? Do you think we should watch motivational videos, or do you think they are just useless? What kind of things motivate you?
Yeah, motivational videos are good for overcoming the initial inertia of, like, we sit back and we are procrastinating. So motivational videos did help me in the beginning, but to keep on with the consistency, it's always the dedication and more about what I was saying, the routine, and I have to get through. And another big thing that I changed in my life was I started having goals, like small short term goals. Before that, I hardly used to keep track of my doings. Like, we had an exam, so just before the exam we were preparing. Other times we were just doing the subjects that we were doing. Like, if we talk about even life goals, I did not have any life goals at that moment. But in 2020 I got through so much that I started visualizing. I started making those vision boards, and that that transformed a lot of my, I had a clearer picture as to what I want in life and how I want my life to look like.
That's I totally resonate with this, and even for me, I started like around 4.5 years back. So I started with buying the first planner for the year. So there was this day I was reading in the library, and there was this planner just lying down in front of me of someone else, and I was like so tempted to just see the planner. So it was written 365 days planner, and that day I got motivated to order a planner, and they come with a certain set of question. What is your life goal? How do you see yourself in like 20 years, 30 years? What do you think like your current goal should be to reach to that ultimate goal? So these are the kind of questions. When I started answering them, I started to getting know myself better, and that is the time when I actually discovered that I wanted to do USMLE because I wanted to go to US. So definitely journaling, and especially journaling about goals and life goals, and you said very right thing is the short term goals. So suppose if my goal is clearing the NEET exam, so that is a very vague and very long term goal, and I can never track my daily goals, and I will just feel lost in the whole journey. But before that, if I form a short term goal of like 1 week, 1 month, and track it after each week and after the end of the month, like how much I achieved, that will also give me a boost and also give me a courage and support that yes, I am on the right track. So it is very important if you're going for a long term goal to make the short term goal. So I love that. Yeah. Okay, so next question is specifically for those who are preparing for the FMGE exam. How did you start preparing for it? What was your timeline? And what were your study routines during those days?
Okay, so for any foreign medical graduate, from the very first day, we are imbibed with this thought that you have to give FMG, tabhi you will be a licensed doctor in India. So when we came here, in the first 2 semesters, we were still getting accustomed to the environment here, the people here, and how things were. So I was not preparing very well in my first year. But from the second semester, like the second year, our seniors were good enough to, at least guide us with what books or what resources we should follow. Back then, we did not have Marrow or Prep Ladder or anything of that sort. We had FMG Solutions, this thick book where Deepak Marwa sir had all the questions from all the 19 subjects collected in one book. So still they have this book issued every year. So that book we got from the very second year. And in third year, I went for DIAMS. There was this institute in Delhi where I took 2 months vacation batch classes. There I did my preclinical subjects, and I slowly started understanding how FMG is. Because when I went to China, like when I came to China in the first go, I had hardly any knowledge about FMG exam in particular. So after this, in 2018, when I took the classes, I got to know how questions were asked, how the exam is, like the exam is in 2 parts, and the question pattern. Mostly we were very, in China or any other foreign medical graduates would relate to this. We are very short of knowledge, as in we don't get the correct exposure equal to like our Indian medical graduates. So we only go through PowerPoints. We see on the students who are studying, like someone who is a studious one would go through Najib sir's lecture, or would have those, like, who would go through the books, the main books like Guyton or any book for the matter, like even Hirsch, like our Pedia and all those books. We did not go through books when we were in China. And after attending those classes, I understood the importance of books. So after 2018, for every subject, all the clinical subjects that I had, I started referring to books. I started reading Manipal for surgery, for gynae I had DC Datta, and that's when I had a like my clinical subjects are more stronger than my preclinical subjects at the moment. So after that, when I finished my MBBS in 2020, we were completely lost because of COVID. We didn't know when we will be writing the FMGE exam, and our college was also very reluctant to take our final exams, and we did not have a provisional degree to even sit for FMGE. In 2021, suddenly, when the second wave struck India, and the NEET PG got cancelled in April, and then the INI got cancelled, we were the first batch of students to write the FMGE June exam. And so I was still under the notion कि maybe our exam will also be cancelled. अब तो सारा exam cancel हो रहा है. So my preparation goal was very like vague, I can call, because I had 3 months time when I realized that I am taking the exam. My college gave us our provisional in March, and in June we had the exam. So I started with the RR from Prep Ladder. So that's that those 3 months I did only the RR, and my previous preparation was from 2020. The major subjects I did from Marrow, like obs gynae, surgery, the subjects which had more weightage in FMG exam, like PSM, pathology. I did those from 2020. Like for one year I was doing only 5 or 6 subjects properly, and the last 3 months I was just rushing through all the other subjects from the RR, Prep Ladder RR.
Okay, so if I am one of your juniors and I come to you that Dr. Apurva, please tell me a small routine of like 3 to 4 months that I can just pass FMGE in very short. So what are the most important pointers that you will give me?
So after I wrote my FMGE exam, I realized what are the how one should go about the exam, because I was picking on anything that I was getting, and thankfully that worked for me because I was preparing for a longer period of time and I was doing MCQs. That was my strength, I would say. Like I was not doing a proper GTs. I have not given GTs enough for writing an exam like FMG or NEET PG. I was never into GT.
What are GTs?
Huh?
What are GTs?
Oh, okay. GTs are grand tests, okay? So grand tests that we take the mock test before exams, right? So for FMG, I always knew there is 2-part exam. So to write 2 hours, again take a break and write 2 hours, that was not my thing. And I was very like 300 questions, so I cannot sit for 300 questions at one go. So I always used to do this small MCQs from every subject. And as I told you earlier, I took the FMG solution book from the very second year. तो मेरे को ना MCQs मैं बहुत करती थी. Like I used to go through MCQs even if I was not solving them. I used to flip the pages and see the answers, but I was always looking at MCQs. So what was my strength was I knew a lot of previous year topics and questions which were being asked repeatedly. So anybody who is coming to me now, I'll always ask them, first तुम अपना short subjects finish करो. Whatever short subjects we have, pedia, derma, and ortho, FMT, all the shorter subjects, people think they have very like less weightage in the entire scene, but these subjects are so high yielding that we cannot go wrong. If you know the answer, you will get the full marks. So for anybody, well, all my juniors who are asking me now कि how कौन सा सब्जेक्ट पहले पढ़ना है, कौन सा खत्म कर लेना चाहिए, I always tell them first finish all your short subjects, and you should be very thorough with patho, micro and pharma, because if you know these 3 subjects well for the preclinical, like the first half of our exam, you can do many questions from second half of the exam, that is medicine questions भी आपके solve हो जाते हैं. And the other 2 subjects which are very very important for FMG students is obs gynae and PSM, which are also very like long subjects, but once you go through it, it is easier for you, like you will have a grip over your like preparation.
That's a very good strategy. And I love the fact that you said that you used to revise the MCQs and just flip the pages, because even in our free time, if we are just getting accustomed to the MCQ pattern, even if we are not 100% free and we are doing some work, but side by side, if we are just keep flipping through the MCQs, our brain recalls that, and when the end phase of preparation comes, we are more comfortable in doing the question, and we somewhere in the back of the mind we remember those questions, that हाँ ये questions मैंने देखे हैं. So yeah, that is a very good strategy. And just note down the guys what important subjects she noted, so that you can make your strategy. So good points for the strategy. Okay. So how did your day look like when you were in a dedicated phase of your preparation, from the morning time to the sleep time, including the social media activity for you?
Okay. So in March 2021 was when I realized that I'm taking the June exam. I was still focusing on December 2021 exam. Like we have exam twice, right? FMGE in June and December. So I was still focusing. If I don't do well in this exam, I still have another chance in December 21. So when I started my preparation, I had this short, like I was telling you, the timetable where I used to keep one large subject in the morning, for example patho or obs gynae, and I used to keep two short subjects, for example FMT and derma, in the evening. And we used to have this what was it, KSM classes. I don't know if you know Dr. Preeti Sharma from pathology and micro. She used to take classes, okay, kickstart morning. Every morning I used to wake up with her classes, and we used to have like an hour or 45 minutes class where she used to discuss MCQs. So my morning started with her, and at the end of the day we used to have MER, Midnight Express, with Dr. Zaina Vora, and my day ended with her. So I was always in these two people's like guidance throughout my preparation. Like those 3 months I used to, at least I was always revising MCQs through them, and through the day I knew कि next day ma'am is going to discuss this topic, तो मेरा 1 घंटा इसमें रहता था. And she used to discuss derma, micro and patho, like Dr. Preeti Sharma. And Zainab Vora, she had a timetable schedule where she used to discuss the important questions which were being asked repeatedly. So I used to do 1 hour of those subjects or those topics which she told of the previous day. So I had these 2 hours assigned for these 2 teachers, and rest I had my own schedule where I used to put morning the major subjects, and in the noon I used to put 2 or 3 small subjects. But at that time I used you're saying something?
Sure.
Okay, at that time I used to use this app, like productivity app, Forest. So I used to study for every day. I used to keep a goal, I'm going to study for 10 hours, and the next day I used to add another 5-10 minutes to it. And that's how, like in the morning I used to give 6 hours, and evening, because in the evening my brain starts dropping down, so I used to give 4 hours in the evening after 6 till 10. And then whenever there was a live on an academy of Dr. Zainab Vora, I used to attend this class and go to sleep.
That's a really good routine, and I love that you said about the Forest app, because all of us live in an era where social media has literally been integral part of our lives. So it is so important to have the app blockers or the productivity app. I myself have used the Forest app and many other apps, like which used to block Instagram and YouTube for the certain hours of the day, and when it crosses like a certain number of hours, like I will not watch more than 1 hour of YouTube in a day. So that was for me. Okay, so how did you manage your social media?
Okay, so when I was preparing, like full on preparing, I used to keep this time slots for Instagram, because I am the person who was always on Instagram. I don't use Facebook or WhatsApp as much. So I used to keep 45 minutes time slot every day. In the beginning it was difficult for me, because I used to finish those 45 minutes in the morning itself, and then I would regret, okay, why? And then later I slowly adapted to it, like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. But I kept it to 45 minutes. I did not exceed those 45 minute slots. And in the last few days, I knew that I needed Instagram, otherwise I will go crazy. So I used to keep like 30 minutes. So Instagram was there throughout, and the other social media platforms I hardly used. So I was completely off Facebook or any other platform.
Yeah. Did you have an accountability partner to share your goals or to keep each other in check?
Yeah, I had a friend who was also preparing with me, and but we were not like I am very personal with my studies and things, so I cannot share a journey with another person. Like I always somehow I'm selfish when it comes to serious preparations. So in the end we were doing our own thing, but we always used to ask each other questions at the end of the day, or maybe 2 days later, okay, how are things going. So I had a friend at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, because we all have different strategies, but it's very good when you know that someone is in the similar journey like you, and just to keep each other in check. So I think accountability partners for that is, no matter how would you like them to be involved in your preparation, but at least checking in once in a while is a very good strategy.
Accountability part, you need someone who is going to be like, at least today when I feel I'm preparing for NEET PG, I have a friend who is also preparing, and now every 2-3 days we have this goal, okay, we have to finish this topic, and if I don't, then he will come up and ask me, okay, are you done with it or not? Then I will be under pressure, okay, I have to finish because he's going forward, or he has completed this much. So yeah, so now I understand it better, but at back then I was not so good with this.
Okay. Okay. So, one of the last questions before we start our rapid fire is, if you meet your younger version, like 4 or 5 years back, Apurva, what advice would you give to her?
Okay, so I would ask her to balance things out. Like, she used to have a lot of fun, and she used to take things very seriously at certain points, but most of the time she used to have a lot of fun. But after 2020 and these things which I realized, like, to have a routine, to have a proper lifestyle is much more important, and then you can balance things out. You can have fun, you can study, and that is why, like, I would keep it short, where you meet people, you don't trust everyone you meet. That's something.
Okay, so be aware of the people around you, and be a good judge of people around you, and keeping the life in balance. Those are good advices. Okay.
I supported it in a much better way. Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, so now starting the juicy part, there is a rapid fire round. So I will ask you questions, and you either can give one word or a small sentence answer to them, but you don't have to take much time in answering them. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. One series that you are currently addicted to.
I'm always addicted to Friends, that I can watch whenever and wherever I am. Friends.
Friends. Oh, always. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is your first crush in med school?
So we had our senior, and many people had a crush on him. I also shared the same crush.
Interesting. Was he from India or China?
Yeah, he was from India.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. What is your favorite subject? Okay. Which subject do you hate the most?
Ophthalmology, I cannot stand the subject.
Oh.
Oh. When did you really messed up before an exam?
During med school, before our medicine exam, I was completely clueless about many topics, and I was like, okay, that was my worst exam in med school. Yeah.
Interesting. Medicine, everybody had the worst experience, I guess. Okay. Did you ever fail any subject?
No, not in med school, but in school I did fail in maths.
Oh, I once failed in chemistry. I got 17 marks, I think, out of 50, maybe. Okay. Who is your favorite celebrity crush?
Deepika Padukone.
And in males?
In males, actually Shah Rukh Khan, but if you have to ask from the contemporary now, it's Vicky Kaushal.
Oh, I also like Vicky Kaushal. Do you have any like K-pop celebrity crush, or do you like K-pop?
K-pop, I like Jaekung, right?
Yeah, Jungkook. Yeah, he's good. Okay, okay. Which is your all-time favorite inspiring song and inspiring movie?
Inspiring song. Okay, there are so many. Ashaye from Iqbal.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
So whenever I am down, whenever I feel like okay, life is not going right, I need that song.
Yeah, like it used to be literally my anthem before exam. Ashai and Ye Hosla from Door. These were the songs that I used to hear in my MBBS days. So yeah,
And the movie was MS Dhoni, always.
nice. Good answers. Okay. So this is the end of our rapid fire. Now, where we can find you if we want to reach you out and ask questions for FMG, where can we contact you?
We have our page Know Your DOC, so you can always like whoever would like to contact me would send a message on like DM us and we will be there to answer. Like it's run by me and Kishan, so if I'm not there, Kishan will be there and he will redirect the message to me. I'm happy to help anyone who needs help.
That's really great, and it was really interesting to talk to you, and I hope a lot of students got so much of motivation and inspiration from you. So thank you, Purva, for connecting with us, and it was wonderful podcast.
It was wonderful talking to you. I had a really good time. I felt comfortable talking to you.
Oh,
Thank you so
nice.
much. Thank you so much for being so kind.
Oh, thank you.